This is big breaking emergency news. We now have a urgent warning being issued by Donald Trump. He is issuing a urgent national security warning for our country, and he is saying that something big is going down in our country right now, right? That is what Donald Trump is warning of. He warned of this during his speech just last night in South Carolina. He was talking during his victory speech, and he also issued this urgent warning for all Americans and for our national security, right? So this is something we need to listen to. We need to be prepared for and be ready for, because our country is entering a chaos and crisis mode. And that's what he's warning of as well. We are going to see chaos, and we are going to see crisis after crisis like we are seeing inside of our country. All right, so I'm going to play what he said here. And he issued this warning on live television for the American people to hear, so we can respond and so we know what is happening in our country, because they are telling us that everything's good. The official narrative is that everything's fine. This is good. And there's no issue. There's no crisis here going on. But he is telling us what's going on behind the scenes and giving us a urgent warning that we need to be prepared for what is coming next and what they are allowing and unleashing in our country. All right, so let's get into this warning here from Trump really quick too for me. Hit that like, hit that sub if you want to get notified for videos I'm posting every day, keeping you guys updated on what's going on. All right, so let's dive into this news here. I'm going to play this clip of Trump and this warning that he issued just last night during his South Carolina victory speech. And then I'm also going to play a clip from a local news station documenting the collapse of our cities in America right now. Right, the collapse, the engineered collapse, and how businesses, corporations are all in on this, and they're all allowing this to happen. That's why we're not seeing a change in our country. So let's get into this Trump clip first, and then I will show this other clip as well that's circulating on CBS News documenting the collapse of our cities and our entire system. All right, but I want you to listen to what Trump said right here.
There's something going on in the country. Some really great things are going on. You look outside and you see all of the horror. You see millions and millions of people coming across the border illegally. We don't know where they come from. They come from jails. They come from prisons. They come from all sorts of places that we don't want to know. They come from mental institutions and insane asylums. And we don't want that in our country. We're not going to stand for it. We're not going to stand for it. You have terrorists coming in. You have people coming in that we just can't. We can't do this. No country could sustain what's happening to the United States of America. No country. So we're going to straighten things out.
All right, that's what Trump said. He just issued that urgent warning last night. He said these gangs are coming over. These criminals are coming over. He's saying that institutions are being emptied. They are being allowed to come over. All right, that is a very similar warning to what FBI insiders were warning of just yesterday as well. This is what's happening to our country. It's being unleashed and purposely being allowed to happen to our country. They are allowing this invasion of military age men that are ready to cause chaos, and they already are causing chaos at a moment's notice. And he said no country on earth can handle what the United States is going through. And this is true. You have to agree with what he's saying here, that this is a collapse of our country. Our country cannot handle this type of stress, economic stress. I'm going to play this clip here from CBS News too. All right, this is the economic stress, the financial stress, and the stress that our cities and communities are going through right now as well. All right, they are being overwhelmed with this invasion and with these millions of people showing up in our communities. The local economies are being overwhelmed as well. All right, I want you to listen to this clip from CBS News really quick. This is what's also going on inside of our country. All right,
In some cases, the hotels are collecting money from the state for 3 meals a day, $16 for breakfast, $17 for lunch, and $31 for dinner. That means $64 a day per person. The state's right to shelter law requires it provide families with refrigeration and basic cooking facilities. But some of the accommodations do not have those appliances, leaving the state to contract out for food and delivery. Citing the emergency nature of the crisis, the state gave Spinelli Ravioli Manufacturing Company in East Boston a $10 million 6-month no-bid contract to provide meals and delivery services. Spinelli's tells the I-Team, as an approved state vendor, we have the ability to deliver emergency meals and mobilize quickly. We are not the exclusive.
All right, so the video ended right there. I don't know if you heard all that, but it said that states like Massachusetts are paying $31 meals for dinner, $16 meals for breakfast, and $17 meals for lunch every single day per, quote, migrant that is being housed inside of Massachusetts right now. This is astronomical. I believe they said it was $64 per day that is being spent per migrant just on food alone. Just on food alone, $64. Who is spending $64 per day on food? Who? I don't know anyone. I've never met anyone that's spending that much per person. $64 per person per day. Insane, unless you're just eating out lavishly every single meal. This is astronomical, the amount of money that's being spent on, quote, migrants, and a lot of them are coming over a part of these gangs, especially in New York and Massachusetts, all right? And I've been documenting how the FBI has been issuing these warnings for these Venezuelan gangs that are taking over these cities. So we are literally paying potentially for some of these people that are criminals in these gangs and even on these FBI watch lists and known organizations, international organizations. You know what I'm talking about. You know how it is on here too. We're literally paying for them, paying to house them, to feed them $64 a day. Insane. All right, that we are paying $31 dinner meals per person. This is per person, and these are not even United States citizens. So people come over here and get fed 3-course meals all day long, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, lavish luxury meals, and stay in the nicest hotels. And the businesses love it. This business, they just got a $10 million contract from Massachusetts. All right? $10 million, this ravioli producer, and it's a state vendor. Okay? This is why nobody is saying anything. This is why nobody's stopping it. This is why, because the businesses are all cashing out on this crisis right now. They're getting paid for it. All the hotels are getting paid bank from your tax dollars. Your state tax dollars and your federal tax dollars are being, it's just another scam like in 2020, how all the money just went to, it didn't go to us, it went to all these mega corporations. It went to everyone else except the American people. We got, what, a $1,200 check or something like that. Maybe $1,400. Okay? That's what we got, and we got all the inflation on the back of it. And we're still, think about the constant strain of inflation this is causing to feed all these people $64 a day and house them in hotels. And think of how that's inflating all the hotel prices in these major cities as well. All right, this is happening all over the place. Denver is having a very similar situation. They are being overwhelmed with this crisis, but they won't shut it down. They won't say they're not a sanctuary city because a lot of the leaders are paying their own businesses as well, or their cousin's businesses. Their cousin owns this hotel, or their cousin owns the restaurant. Not saying this one is, but this happens a lot of times. Their cousin, their brother owns the restaurant that they pay the $10 million contract to feed all the migrants because it's a, quote, emergency. So we have to do it instead of feeding the American people that are already already here, right? And actually taking care of Americans first. That's never the priority. It's always Americans last and America last. That's these people's philosophy. And they said Massachusetts spent $116 million just for 8 months of housing, right? And they're just racking it up on the hotel, ordering, just getting these meals all day long delivered to them. And I don't know if you heard it in there as well. They were saying that it's under this right to housing law. It's under a right to housing law, apparently. But Americans don't get this. I've never had a right. Nobody gives me a free house or anything. No, that's never happened. Okay? But apparently, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you have this right to housing law, and they have to provide you with a refrigerator, with cooking, a microwave, all these different things, a stove, so you can cook. But they're saying they can't provide them with that, so they have to provide them with food. This is insane. This is not what these laws were set up for. They were set up to help people in real emergencies, American citizens in emergencies, like the people in East Palestine, Ohio, that it took Biden a year to go visit them. And it's supposed to help people like in Maui, Lahaina, where their entire town burned down and they got nothing. They got $700. That's nothing. Pays for 2 nights at a hotel if you're lucky over there, if there's even a spot, because all the hotels are actually filled up by government contractors now that are all occupying this space and doing cleanup work and doing whatever they're doing there. It's still under wraps pretty much, and they're keeping it behind closed doors. All right, so this is what's happening in our country. They're spending our U.S. tax dollars to facilitate this invasion, and we are paying for it all along the way. We're paying the UN, who's paying to fly them over here and get them to these camps in Central America, like at the Darien Gap. There's all these different NGO camps. They fly them there, and then they also pay to transport them by bus and cars, vehicles, to get them to the U.S. southern border and have mass drop-offs. I've showed the videos. I've showed the articles. This is happening every single day, and we are paying for it with our U.S. tax dollars as well. That's the craziest part and the most unacceptable part of all of it. They are taking money that we have to work for and pay taxes for and giving it to people that are not even U.S. citizens and creating inflation with it. All right, so unacceptable what's going on inside of our country now. Trump issued this urgent warning, and he is right. This warning is real. This is what's going on in our country, and it's been backed up by multiple other people as well, are seeing the same thing. Boots on the ground are seeing this exact issue with our country. There's already been dozens of people just in the past few months since the year started that have crossed our border that were on international FBI watch lists, right? That's already happened in our country dozens of times. I believe it was like 58 different people have crossed that are on the FBI international watch list, right? And think of all the people that didn't get caught that have crossed, and think of all the military units that can be in our country right now as well. All right, so please hit it up for me down there. I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to be posting a video later today for you guys, so be on the lookout for that. I hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.